All right, looking at our essential question, it says, what are expressions in math? And how do we write and evaluate expressions? So, Ethan, what did you just tell me? Evaluate? Equal. Equal or solve? Solve. All right, so evaluate means to solve. All right, what else? Does anybody know what an expression is?
Oh, is it?
Ace, what do you think an expression is? So all eyes should be over here.
Expression is like if you just
Never mind. Okay.
it's an equation without an
Okay. So it's without the equal sign, which means that an equation has an equal sign. Anything else we want to add to this today? If not, that's fine, because we're going to be going over this for the next couple days. We feel okay with our few little tweaks to our essential question? And I apologize ahead of time. I just like Khan Academy, but sometimes they're the most basic, easy, like straightforward. All right, so.
What I want to do in this video.
No, I want you to
Negative
hush.
7 and the what I want to do in this. What I want to do in this.
We don't care what you want to do. So this one is about how to write expressions with variables. Remember we did briefly talk about variables when we were doing proportion. Raise your hand and tell me what is a variable. Cora.
unknown number.
It's an unknown number. We use a letter to represent that unknown number. All right.
Video is write the algebraic expressions that represent the same thing that these statements are saying. So this first statement, they say the sum of negative 7 and the quantity 8 times x. So the sum, so we're going to have an addition here, of negative 7, and the quantity 8 times x. So the quantity 8 times x, well that's just 8x, so I can just write 8x over there. So it is negative 7 plus 8x. Or you could view this as this.
You don't have to solve these per se. These are just writing. Okay?
Sum of negative 7 and the quantity 8 times x. Let's do the next one. Take the quantity negative 3 times x. So take the quantity negative 3 times x. And then add 1. And then add 1. So the quantity negative 3 times x, we can write that as negative 3x. And then we need to add 1 to that. So that's going to be plus 1. Now this one.
Does everybody understand why we can add a number and a variable together when we say times or multiply without putting that symbol? Okay? And also understand that this means multiplication. Everything else will have a sign that goes with it, whether it's subtraction, division, addition. It will all have a sign that goes with it. When you're writing a number times a variable, 9 times out of 10, it'll just be pushed together with no operation in the middle of those two.
So like you don't solve it.
What? No.
It's just
Just, yep.
Negative 6 plus, so we can write negative 6 plus something, the product of negative 1 and x. So the product of negative 1 and x, that's just going to be negative 1x, which is the same thing as negative x. So we can write this as negative 6 plus negative x, or we can just write this is the exact same thing as negative 6 minus x. And we are done.
All right, so again, that is just writing, so that's going to be part of what we are doing today. And then the other one is evaluating expressions with variables. Obviously, we just discussed.
A local hospital.
We did just discuss that the word evaluate means to solve. So this is where you will essentially substitute for your variable, and then solve.
Was holding a raffle as a fundraiser. The individual cost of participating in the raffle is given by the following expression: 5t plus 3, or 5 times t plus 3, where t represents the number of tickets someone purchases. Evaluate the expression when t is equal to 1, t is equal to 8, and t is equal to 10. So let's first take the situation where t is equal to 1. Then this expression right over here becomes, and I'll use that same color, it becomes 5 times 1 plus 3. 5 times 1 plus 3, and we know from order of operations, you do the multiplication before you do the addition. So this will be 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3, and then this is clearly equal to 8. Now let's do it when t is equal to 8. So when t is equal to 8, this expression becomes, and I'll do the same colors again, 5 times 8 plus 3, same color of green, plus 3. And once again, 5 times 8 is 40, and then we have the plus 3 there, so this is equal to 43. And so we have the last situation with t is equal to 10. I'll do that in blue. So we have 5 times 10. So 5t is 5 times 10. Instead of a t, we put a 10 there. 5 times 10 plus 3. That's a slightly different shade of green, but I think you get the idea. 5 times 10 is 50. We do 50, and then we're going to have to add 3 to that, and that is equal to 53. And we're done.
Alright, so again, evaluating expressions is not terribly hard because, like I said, it's just taking the number they give you and substituting it in and solving. Everybody should hopefully know how to do PEMDAS. If you don't, well, I think tomorrow or Thursday, we're doing a quick lesson on PEMDAS. So today, we are going to spend a decent amount of time working on writing and evaluating expressions. Before we get started with that, though, we do have to come up with some words for each one of these. So what is another word for addition? So what's another word for additions? Cooper. Some? Okay, what's another one? Ace.
Adding.
Okay, what's another one? Jackson.
Just regular.
Huh?
Just like
Add. Okay. What's another one? Michaela.
plus.
Alright, what is another one? Caleb. Nope, not product.
So that's
How about total? What about in all? And increased by. Not the only ones, but there's some. Alright, what about subtraction? Ethan? Difference? Alright, what else? Christian,
take away.
keep away or take away?
Take away.
Take away. Leve,
How many more?
alright, Cora,
Minus.
alright, Jack,
Subtracting.
alright, what about multiplication? Haley,
Multiply.
alright, what's another one? Alexa, Alright, another one, Jackson.
Times.
What about twice? What about area? What about each? Alright, and then, yep. Alright, and then division. Mason, good line. Alright, Joseph.
Quotient.
Okay.
Divided by.
What about per? Equal groups. Same. And half. Alright, stand up when you have these written down.
Each row for the one.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10 though, you hear each more with multiplication than you do with division, but depending on how you worded it. Alright, have a seat. For this next part, we are going to write an expression for the phrases below and then evaluate for n equals 2 and n equals 5. Okay, so your example is 4 more than a number, so that's 4 plus n. So when n equals 2, you just plug it in and you get 6. When n equals 5, you plug it in and get 9. Alright, so for the next one, a number decreased by 10. What do you think this is going to look like, expression-wise? Joseph? Pick any variable you want.
X minus 10 is decrease.
Yep, because it says decreased by. Okay, so x minus 10. Alright, so when, we're going to say x, sorry. When x equals 2, we're going to plug this in exactly how it is. So 2 minus 10 is going to give you what?
-8.
It's going to give you a negative number, which is -8. Alright, when x equals 5, you're going to do 5 minus 10, which is going to give you what? Raise your hand. Mason? -5. So yes, you are going to be dealing with negative numbers. That is something that you do in 7th grade that we are not going to take away while we're learning this in 6th grade. Alright, questions about how that worked? Terribly hard or just kind of like, not sure yet?
Not sure.
Not sure
Not
yet?
sure yet.
Okay. Alright, looking for those keywords, and even if you want, bless you, if you want to highlight them, you'll see me underlining them, but if you feel better about highlighting them because it makes it stand out more, you're more than welcome to. Alright, the next one says, the product of 5 and a number. So tell me the key word there that tells you what operation we're doing. Jackson,
Product.
okay? Which tells me what?
Multiplication.
We're going to do multiplication, so what's it going to look like?
5 times n.
So 5 times n, or you can write it as 5n. Okay? So when n equals 2, we're going to do 5 times 2, which gives us 10. And when n equals 5, we're going to do 5 times 5, which equals 25. How do you feel about those last two? All right, 4 times a number. So again, raise your hand, tell me what that keyword is, and then what operation you're doing. Cora,
Times.
okay, go ahead, Joseph.
That means multiplication.
Okay. So what's the expression gonna look like?
4 times, so I just pick any variable. 4 times,
4 times
Z.
z. Okay, so it can be 4 times z, or it can be 4z. Alright, so z is gonna equal 2. So I want you to plug it in, and then I want you to raise your hand when you have your answers. So once you essentially solve for both of those, I want you to raise your hand. Alright, Olivia, what did you get?
I got 8.
So you did 4 times 2 equals 8. Okay, and then what? 4 times 5 equals 20. Alright, we're going to skip the bottom 2. Let's slide over to the top of the right side. Alright, so this is a little bit more in depth. It says write an expression for the word problem below, and then evaluate for x equals 30, and it should be 50, sorry. So x equals 30 and x equals 50. Note, when you evaluate your 4 values, you must write the description explaining what you evaluated. If you are stuck, look at the example. Alright, so they added an extra thing in there. They added the explanation. So the phrase is Tamika has 10 more pieces of candy than Miss Reddy. Let x equal pieces of candy Miss Reddy has. So x plus 10, and then x equals 30, so you're just simply doing 30 plus 10 equals 40. The explanation is when Miss Reddy has 30 pieces of candy, Tamika has 40 pieces of candy. So that's the extra step. You're writing what your answer means. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then same thing over here, when x equals 50, when Miss Reddy has 50 pieces of candy, Tamika has 60 pieces of candy. Now, these boxes are a little bit small, so if you need to do the explanation part and on your notebook, that is fine. Alright, so let's go through the next one. Jose has done 100 more science experiments than Gabby. Let x equal the number of science experiments Gabby has done. What is our expression going to look like? So what does the expression look like? Ace.
X plus 100.
Okay, and so we know that x has to equal 30, and we know that x has to equal 50. Alright, so I'm going to do 30 plus 100. What does that give me? 130. And then I'm going to do 50 plus 100. What does that give me? Haley? 150. Alright, so what?
Why we
Ooh, I'm gonna hurt you. Put it in the bin. Put it in the bin. You're lucky. Alright, so what does 130 mean? What does 30 plus 100 equals 130? What does that mean? So how many science experiments did Gabby do? She did 30, so then Jose did what? 100. Okay, so then for this one, 150, how many science experiments did Gabby do? 50. It doesn't, the only thing that changes is the number. Because if Gabby did 30 here because x equals 30, and when x equals 50, Jose still did what? 100. So that's a good enough explanation for me. Like, it doesn't have to be in a long, elaborate explanation. That's just showing me that you understand. Yes.
Why are we adding?
Because that's what it said. That's what the expression was.
It's just, he has 100 more.
Yeah, it's 100 more, so it'd be 150 and 130.
Yeah, it'd be 150 and 130.
So Jose would have 130 and then Odessa would have 150.
Yeah.
There's 100 more.
Make sense? Okay, so here's my advice to you. When you're writing expressions, do not overthink it. Do not put more into the sentence or the phrase or the whatever than what is right there. There are a ton of translating expression questions on the EOG for 6th grade. A ton. At least 15. If you overthink it, you will not get a 5 on the EOG just for your translating expression questions. So just simply do what it says. If it says more usually means one of two things, right? It either means addition or multiplication. And in this instance, we know that it's not multiplication. All right, do not overthink this, ladies and gentlemen, do not. All right, the next one. Miss S is 15 years younger than Mr. B. So what is our expression gonna look like? Jackson?
Would it be, X minus 50?
Yes, because younger is your key word. So, and if it helps, go in and underline the words that essentially make it, brain part. X minus 15. That makes it what operation it is. Alright, so X equals 30. So 30 minus 15 equals what? 15. And X equals 50. So 50 minus 15 equals 35. Alright, so what does this expression mean? Right here. Or equation mean? Michaela? Yep. So then, what does the next expression mean? Someone other than Jackson. Brenda, what do you think?
Mr. B is 50 and Miss S is 35.
Yep. All right. So, your homework tonight is going to be these 3 questions and those 2 questions. Oh, fantastic, then you have less homework. We are not done though. We're gonna have a little friendly competition. So please make sure that you have your homework labeled so you know what your homework is. And then I need you to put your paper away, your notebook away, and move the pen all through paper. So essentially you need a clear paper. Jose always says 100 more than whatever that number is. So it's 100 right, which is 130. So 130. No, the total numbers together are 130. So essentially, Jose always does 100. The total number of projects. No matter what, like you could say 600. But Jose's still only going to do 100 projects.
Wow, no, it's so wrong.
Does that make sense? Like you're thinking way too hard. Or we could just do math. All right. Today, as a group, you are going to try to pair up translations with words. You don't even need pencils, that's the opposite. Okay, the very first thing that you need to do is you need to pick a table captain. You have 5 seconds, go. 5, 4, 3. Once you have your table captain, they need to stand up. 1, and you're quiet. So your table captain is in charge of 2 things. 1, letting me know when you think you're done. And 2, if time or I say something or whatever, you must get your group quiet. Okay? If your group does not get quiet immediately, you lose points. All right. The next thing, table captain, you're going to take those cards. You're going to leave them face down, and you're going to spread them out all over the table. Spread them out. Yep, right now. You have 10 seconds. 1. Do not touch them if you're not the table captain. What were my instructions? Table captain. I mean, spread them out. You need to go like this. They need to get all, you're not putting them in a row. You're spreading them out so you can see that there are all, like, no card should be on top of the other. Spread them all out. Spread them out. Spread them out. Make sure that no card is on top of another card. There is a lot. All right. Table captain, give me a thumbs up if you feel like you have spread out all your cards and you're good to go on to the next thing. All right, you are going to be flipping these over in your math. I can't even talk. You're matching an expression with a translation. So essentially, you are going to match like x plus 2 to a saying that means x plus 2. Okay? When you think you find a pair, I need you to put them like this together, not on top of each other. If you raise your hand, say we're ready for you to check, and they're on top of each other, I'm gonna keep right on moving. So they need to be like this. Okay? When you think you have found all of the correct ones, table captain, you're gonna raise your hand. You're gonna be quiet while I'm over there. If I say, hey, this is wrong, I'm gonna turn around and walk away. You get 2 opportunities for me to check. 2. After that, you're eliminated. Okay? Yes?
So we do this for every card, or do you check when we're done with everything?
Check when you're done with everything.
Okay.
Okay? All right, any other questions? Yes?
So is it like, don't be the last one done, or be the first one done?
It's be the first one done with all the correct answers. Because like I said, you get 2 checks. So like if you guys are the first ones done and you raise your hand, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be like, nope, you're missing one. I'm gonna turn around and walk away. I'm not gonna tell you which one you're missing. I'm not gonna tell you anything. You gotta figure it out. Then if you think you fixed it and you raise your hand again and I come back over there and you're now the third group and you got it right, you might be actually the first ones. Okay? Yes, Ace.
What's prize?
Don't worry about the prizes.
Go ahead.
There will be a prize, but don't worry about what it is.
Best prize.
All right, any other questions? All right, go to it.